Here we are at Mirin Doll for the final day of the 2015 Cape Epic. And I was thinking, in case you want to do it sometime, I'm going to go out and interview people who finished today, maybe some doctors and mechanics, and try and get the best advice I can. So if you think about doing the 2016 Cape Epic, you'll be ready to go.
My name is Brenton. I'm from the Netherlands. I did Cape Epic this year, won in the Masters category, and if you want to do this race, be prepared really well and train a lot. It helps a lot to survive this week.
He's an Olympic Gold Medalist, he knows.
Hello, I'm Yvonne Kraft from Germany. I raced with Peter Wessel in the mixed category and we won it this year. And my best advice to finish it next year is stay calm. Take it more easy than it is. It is very hard to survive. Take a lot of salt in your water bottles. Each day, each water bottle, never drink a water bottle without salt.
Give us the most common injuries that you get here at Cape Epic and what people need to look out for.
I think that the commonest one, without doubt, is overuse injuries. And it's just the extreme nature of the Cape Epic, the terrain, and the distances and the duration that one sort of covers that lends itself to bringing out or exposing underlying overuse injuries. Then probably the second would be, especially with a large European following, is dehydration. And again, just the climate and the distances that one covers.
That time of year too. So I came right from the snow, for instance, and I think a lot of the guys from Belgium or Switzerland or that sort of thing. So the heat adaptation must be difficult.
I think it does, yeah. Climatization, people underestimate how important it is to climatize. Everyone knows altitude acclimatization and the importance thereof, but the heat is exactly the same. So we see a lot of that. And then apart from those two, with regards to overuse injuries, probably MTB is the commonest in cycling that we see. And then patellofemoral pain syndrome.
Okay.
And then obviously our bum clinics also working.
Yeah. So ITB, which is the side of the thigh, patella, which is the knee. Those are the most two common injuries that you're seeing from overuse. The year leading up to it, for people who want to do the Cape next year, what's the best thing they can do to prepare and to guard against something like that happening?
I think probably the most important thing is bike setup.
Yeah.
I think people don't quite realize how important the bike setup is, and not just any bike setup. Somebody that knows and understands the biomechanics behind cycling, and understands the biomechanics behind injuries, and taking into account your past and medical history and the injuries that you've been associated with in the past, sending your bike up appropriately towards it. I think that is probably the biggest and the most important thing that I could advise. And then secondly is not to train for the Cape Epic in the last month of your preparation, or increase the mileage, especially if you're prone to overuse injuries. It's like any sort of event that one's going to do, but it's far more extreme. And I think that people need to prepare appropriately for it. And if that means 3 to 4, 5 months in advance, trying to increase mileage and training
ramp up the volume.
Exactly.
Yeah. Colin, thanks a million. We'll see you next year.
Nacru, Costa Rica, Manzanillo, Costa Rica. My best piece of advice is get physically and mentally strong.
Check out the fat bike. You have to get twice as strong to ride one of those.
My name is Will Muki. I'm from Costa Rica, and my best piece of advice for next year is you got to ride a fat bike. It makes this race fun, easy. You can climb better, descend faster, and it's just like being an 8-year-old child for 7 days. Although I'm an 8-year-old child for most days anyway, so enjoy.
From Cape Town, South Africa. Get a good haircut.
Nice.
My name is Thierry Gonneau, and I'm very happy to be here. And for this race, training, more.
And for me, I had to have him as a partner.
My name is Urban Wennemars from the Netherlands. My best, how can you, I don't know how to
give your
prepare.
best advice.
Be prepared. I didn't prepare at all. I just came in and I cycled. but I think you have to prepare. You have to cycle a little bit.
He's an 8-time world champion speed skater, so he doesn't have to prepare.
Hi, my name is Daniel Franco. I'm from Brazil. It's my first time over here in Cape Epic. It's a very challenging thing to do, man. You have to train a lot. I thought I was ready for it, but it's more tough than I imagined.
Hi, my name is Angelo. I'm from Italy, but living in South Africa for 18 years now. Best advice, have a good partner, always stick together, never give up, and remember that at the end of every uphill there is a downhill, although it's tough.
I'm Louise, I'm from Paarl, Western Cape, and my best advice for the Cape Epic will be to not skimp on your hours, put in the hard work, and then just sweat it out during the event.
My name is Christo de Jonge, and my advice to anybody trying to do this is train hard, climb a lot.
Okay, so advice for someone who wants to do it next year.
Do it.
Just
do it.
What's the most common, maybe top 3 problems that you see with equipment?
Oh, it's actually amazing. I think because it's quite rocky out here, the guys just seem to take out their red railers, take out the cassettes, the chains, obviously the dust and the dirt, you know, it just eats the cassette, the chain. And yeah, you can't believe, like, you fit brand new cables to a bike, brand new chain, the guys one day out comes back, the chain is it's finished.
Yeah.
The cable's finished.
After one day.
After one day, yeah. The mud, obviously, you know, the muddy days, the dry days are all good. But when it's muddy and challenging, oh man, it can destroy an entire group set in one day.
Big issue. What other issues have you seen out here this year specifically?
Yeah, tyres.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, I think. Well, it's an interesting one. South Africa's very harsh, and I think back to the very first Cape Epic and the first and the second, where a lot of the European pro riders came out and they were here with their super lightweight tyres and super lightweight tubes, latex tubes, super thin tyres, super quick setup, and they got there and like kind of 50 k's into the stage, they're standing on the side of the road and like, I don't understand. Like, I've had like 20 punctures today, and like, the other oaks are just gone. And also the other thing is obviously the tyres being thicker. You know, you don't go into a race like this with super thin tyres. You're not going to get through. You go for something that's strong. And I always say, look at the weight of the tyre, and that'll tell you how strong it is.
Yeah.
Don't look at the weight and think, oh, this is a good tyre. It's super light. No, if it's a super light tyre, there's not enough rubber. It's going to cut. Bikes. If you come in with a brand new bike into this race, you leave with an old bike.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because it destroys everything.
And you leave with an old body because you feel like an old man. Drivetrain and punctures because of everything that's so harsh around here in South Africa. I've only seen maybe 5% of the people on a hardtail. Everyone else seems to be on full suspension. Any difference from a maintenance or a racing perspective you've seen between the hardtail and the full suspension?
Yeah, I normally think the guys that is on the hardtails, you kind of look at it and think, this is probably your first Epic, eh?
Yeah.
Because the next time, I doubt you're going to come back on a hardtail.
And there are guys riding a 1x11 who are bigger guys. You know, they're not the 60 or 65 kilogram guys in the front, but they're riding a 1x11. Do you see that as a reasonable alternative for sort of the middle of the pack guy here?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've got a good friend of mine who we do a lot of riding with, so I know his level, and I know he's a really strong bike rider. He's a bit heavier, you know. I think he's sitting at about 90 kilos.
Yeah.
But he's really strong, trained up, and he was on 1x11, and for the race he actually swapped out bikes and he went for 2x10. And I was speaking to him last night, and I just said, if you were on the 1x, and he just said, no.
Not a chance.
Yeah. There's absolutely no. Yeah. And I think what the guys do is they go for the 1x11, maybe a bit of peer pressure. You know? Like, hey, everybody, this is cool, this is what everybody's going to do. Look at that guy, he's winning races, I need it. And they're making it hard for themselves. They really could be. You need the gears.
Yeah. Any other tech tips or maintenance tips or anything else riders need to know before they hit the Cape Epic?
Yeah, I would say when you come into the race, come in with a brand new drivetrain. Don't come in with everything slightly older. Everything. New chain, new cassette, new chain rings, new cables. But the other thing that you got to do, and this, people just forget about this. Before you come into the race, replace all your bearings, front and back wheel, and all your suspension pivots, okay, and your headset. The thing is, you know, people like, oh, good tire, whatever. But yesterday we had a guy that blew out his bearing on the front wheel and toasted it. And when I took it out, I could clearly see that bearing needed replacing 6 months ago. But guys go, oh well, we'll just service it, and, you know, maybe after day 2. But you know, you're coming in, you're paying a lot of money to be here. You're doing a race. Replace it all. Do it. It's going to get you to the end, and your bike's still going to be riding. You're not going to go service it straight after the race. A lot of guys come in unprepared and then have their bike rebuilt after the Epic. It's kind of counterproductive.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
I'm absolutely blown away, and this is actually a true test. We've had a couple of bikes we've been looking after throughout the event with the new electronic Shimano, with the XTR electronic.
Yeah.
And I do say it's a game changer.
Really?
It's unbelievable. They just, I mean, the guy brings in the bike, he says, don't you want to check it out? And kind of look and you think, well, there's not really much for me to do here. I mean, you run through the gears are perfect. If the gears aren't perfect, you just straighten the derailleur hanger or whatever's wrong, and off he goes again. And there's no sticky cables, there's no tightness of the shifting come the end of the race. And the one guy was like, he came in last night and he was like, I'm only down 1 bar. You know, he charged it up full before the event and he's only used up literally 1 bar. I mean,
after 5 days.
After 5 days, I was like,
wow.
So,
wow, that sounds like new gear I might have to get.
No, that is the game changer. And the fact that you've only got 1 shifter.
Yeah.
You know, you set it up that you've only got the 1 shifter, you had it set up that way. It feels like, it really does feel like you've got, it sounds weird, it feels like you've got 22 gears on the back and only 1 on the front.
Yeah. Well, there is another Cape Epic in the books. I hope you enjoyed the coverage on Live Big, and it was a pretty dramatic race for me and for an awful lot of people here. Everything about this race truly is epic. From the course and the climbing to the heat and the logistics and the way they pull it off. It's a stellar race. It's definitely one you should put on your bucket list if you're a mountain biker. Well, if you like this episode of Live Big, go ahead and click subscribe. There's a new adventure every week and some really cool stuff, from bungee jumping to aerobatic flying coming up in the future. And there's also a lot more mountain biking to be had. So click subscribe, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and be sure to share it with your friends. Until next time, I'm Patrick Sweeney. Live big.